Hello and welcome to my writing classroom. This presentation will guide you through the development of my senior writing classroom. My classroom is a place of fervid noise, of peaceful calm, and of reflective silence. My classroom is a place of joyous discovery, of quiet smiles, and of reassuring nods. My classroom is a place of frustration, of disequilibrium, and of the unknown. My classroom is a place of safety, so it can be a place of vulnerability, a place of contention as well as conciliation. My classroom pushes my students to question what they do not know and to confirm what they do know. My classroom encourages my students to find likes in their dislikes and dislikes in their likes. My classroom encourages my students to go out into the world thinking a little more than they did before. The important thing to me in my workplace is that it is a place which treats its staff and students with kindness and respect. The classroom I have created is one which values communication, understanding and tolerance. I would find it difficult to achieve this if the professional setting I was placed in encountered these values. The English office is, as it should be, a place of collaboration, excited chatter and many laughs. My co-workers share notes and ideas as well as frustrations and struggles. It is not a competitive place, but a place of support and encouragement. The curriculum is one which allows for deviation and imagination. Assessment tasks are used as a useful learning tool, creating goal-oriented learning. Students as well as teachers are given the authority to be stakeholders in their own learning. My teaching methods, especially in terms of writing, develop significantly when I experience a failure in the classroom. After every failure is an opportunity to improve myself and further develop my teaching practice. When I experience a disappointment in the classroom, there are many avenues to turn to. Peers. My fellow English teachers have spent years teaching writing and have developed a unique set of skills. Sitting with them and listening to their advice is one of the best ways to develop my writing practice. Research. Similarly to my peers, many people have spent years researching the teaching of writing. Looking to research, academics and experts in the field is a fantastic way to gain ideas and inspiration. Students. When I feel like my students aren't getting the most out of their time in my class, the best approach is to ask them directly. Students are often willing to be proactive in asking for the kind of teaching they want. Myself. Asking myself, why do I like or dislike writing, gives me an insight into how my students might be feeling and the kind of strategies available. In a chapter of his book, Locke divulges that his grandson, Silas, learned to say the word grandad before he learned to write it. The importance of being able to articulate and understand a concept before writing is one which became apparent to me recently. After asking an autistic student I was working with to just write anything, she tried, but quickly became extremely distressed. This forced me to reflect on and critically assess my pedagogical practice. I found that in order to write, you need to think. Therefore, now when I plan for writing experiences, I do everything I can to help the writing flow. Through scaffolding instruction and introducing small creative writing tasks followed by discussion and exploration, when my students go to pick up a pen, they feel empowered. Student writing is enhanced when they feel like they can tell a story or portray a point of view through their words. The reader response theory is utilised in my classroom. It is one which celebrates the death of the author, or, rather, the individuality and creativity of the reader. John Fowles supports this notion, stating that to create great writing there must be cooperation between the reader and the writer, one to suggest, the other to make concrete. Terry Locke adds to this rhetoric, stating that texts derive their meaning from the way they enter into a relationship with texts which precede them, as well as those which are yet to be written. Therefore, there is merit in the notion that texts are reflected in the way they relate to the reader and also in the way they relate to other literature. The student, as the writer, in my classroom has the goal of deciphering these connections and developing their own individual ideas. The idea that there is a plethora of right answers and no wrong ones is one which inspires my students when they go to write. Terry Locke conceptualizes the notion of the teacher as the writer in his book, Developing Writing Teachers. Through exploration and discovery, he found that as teachers became writers themselves, the attitude towards writing changed. My own findings were similar. I have done a lot of writing in the last 5 years. I have scarcely, however, wrote something for myself. So, as an exercise, I did. 3 hours later, as I approached the 2,000 word mark on my analysis of the meaning of the direwolf in Game of Thrones, I understood why Locke felt so passionately. When you're a writer, you feel like your work has meaning, you feel like you can be authoritative, and you feel powerful. To teach your students to be a writer, you must be one yourself. When asking students to perform a task, it is paramount that they understand why. Studies have shown that students with specific attainable goals in relation to writing showed an increase in their productivity. Providing students with goals when assigning writing tasks ensures that the students understand that the task is meaningful and is building towards something important. Incorporating feedback into this process is also an important aspect of my practice, as it helps the students monitor their progress and remain focused. The VCE study designed for Unit 1 to 4 Senior Level English lists to enhance English language skills through thinking, listening, speaking, reading, viewing and writing as one of its primary aims. This is a gesture to multimodality. Terry Locke describes multimodality as a characteristic of a text or textual event that utilizes more than one mode in the production of meaning. The VCAA's insistence that multimodality is essential to success in English is one which I wholeheartedly agree with. My pedagogical approach includes diversity of instruction as well as a multiplicity of tasks given to students. This guide describes my writing classroom. However, writing without thinking, listening, speaking, reading and viewing would be a difficult task. The most important pedagogical practice is creating a writing community. A British study from 2000 noted that a class where writing was viewed as a social activity was a class which reported a high degree of motivation in students. Peel and Curtis in 1996 noted that students enjoyed English the most when their own experiences, perceptions and imaginations are given expression and valued. This approach reflects the goal in the Melbourne Declaration to ensure that schooling contributes to a socially cohesive society. As society should be, my classroom is built around the notion of collaboration. The interpersonal skills students enact in my classroom are ones they will take with them into society. This is not an exhaustive list of my pedagogical practice, and as explained earlier, it is likely to change and adapt throughout time.